Making his way to the ring, ladies and gentlemen, the champ is here. It's Khafre Tate.
Hello, friends, and welcome back one last time to Thai Championship Boxing number 43. And we are beginning our main event with the entrance of the champion. Khafre Tate, coming out of ground control, is here to cement the legacy of this Muay Thai gym for a second time tonight. This 23-year-old is on a tear, 12-2, coming on out here, standing at 6'3", the ideal size for a welterweight fighter. This is a guy with a lot of reach, a lot of power, and he's brought that to bear across many different fights.
Yeah, this kid coming in with a mean look on his face, and he's looking to do some damage. And, man, I mean, he's the champion for a reason, and huge for this weight class, 6'3", 170 pounds. I'm really looking forward to this one. This is an exciting, exciting main event for you guys. Khafre Tate coming in here, 6'3", 170 from ground control with a record of 12-2. Up against an undefeated guy with the same, almost exact same record, 12-0. So, I mean, really, you guys better not move out of your seats because this fight is going to be one to watch. I'm really excited to see these two go at it here in this main event showdown.
You know, we see so many fights go to a decision tonight. TCB oftentimes have people who are so well matched that they sometimes have trouble finishing one another. That has not been an issue for Tate. Those legs are lethal weapons, Brent. And I'm sure that here and now he's looking for yet another finish in his long history of stunning.
And his opponent, the challenger, making his way to the ring and fighting out of the blue corner, it's Brian Allen.
That being said, in terms of people with that pedigree deserving of a title shot, I can think of no one else in the same strata as Brian Allen. This 29-year-old is 6'1", but notably comes out of Beta Academy with a whopping 12-0 record.
Yeah, Beta Academy, quite a few fighters on the card tonight, but this one is their lead dog, I believe, coming in 12-0. What a record from this guy. I mean, come on. He's had 12 fights, and he's come out on the winning side 12 times. And Khafre Tate, the champion here at TCB, is looking to take that O away from Brian Allen. We'll see if he can do just that.
You know, there's a lot on the line here for Brian Allen. You talked about how it's not only that title shot, but it is also the fact that O may go tonight. And, you know, some people get a little bit defensive of that. You know, they want to have that pristine amateur record before they move into the pro fights. The fact that Allen wants to challenge, is hungry for the belt before he makes that jump, I think is something to really watch out for. This is someone who's prepped extensively and is ready to make a statement for Beta.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we could have got a better main event fight here in the welterweight division. And, you know, whoever put this together, which is TCB management, they did a great job putting this one together because this is going to be one heck of a showdown. Both fighters look ready to go. Neither fighter's new to the ring, and they're going to bring their experience right here in this showdown for the main event. Let's send it to Chris here in a second to make it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is the moment we have all been waiting for. This is the main event of the evening. This bout is scheduled for 5 2-minute rounds, and it is for the TCB welterweight title. It is brought to you by CherokeeDecks.com, specializing in custom decks and porches for over 2 decades. Starting out first, the challenger, fighting out of the blue corner, standing 6'1" and weighing in at 170 pounds, fighting out of Beta Academy. He brings a perfect 12-0 record to the ring. It's Brian Allen. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, standing 6'3" and weighing in at 170 pounds, fighting out of ground control with an impressive record of 13 wins and only 2 defeats. He is the reigning, defending TCB welterweight champion. It's Khafre Demon Time Tate! Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this bout is scheduled for 5 2-minute rounds. Is for the TCB welterweight title, and your referee to give the fighter instructions is Angel Ortiz.
All right, gentlemen, we went over the rules today. Obey my commands at all times, protect yourselves at all times. Fight clean, fight hard. Any final questions? No, touch gloves, go back to your corners, get ready to come out fighting.
Ooh, what a stare down. This is one for the record books here at TCB 43. Let's see how they start this fight.
Well, it's going to be with a glove touch, and you love to see that kind of respect here, but there's so much on the line, Brent, that is underpinning just how important this fight is for both of these guys. Khafre Tate really wants to make right on those few losses that are on his record and hand the first defeat over to Brian Allen, who's defending not only this record, but also the shot at a title in an unblemished move onto the pro division. So as we go deeper into this clinch and into round number 1, Angel Ortiz is going to break us up for the first time, and immediately we're right back to swinging. Notably, the guard that we're seeing out of Khafre Tate is quite solid. He's doing a decent job of also using his leverage and height advantage to really try to destabilize Allen early in this one. But Brian, with brilliant head movement, is going to duck out of the way of a hook and fall right back into a clinch.
Yeah, Khafre with some real intense strikes here, coming with punches, coming with knees, coming with throws. I mean, our champion here at TCB really representing the look of a champion, but Brian right there in there with him, looking strong as well. So this is a back and forth battle as of yet.
So Brent, I was getting your attention before we started the fight when Khafre Tate was walking to the ring. You want to talk about a primal look?
Yeah.
He looked like an axe murderer walking down the walkway.
I guess they don't call him Demon Time for a reason, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, he was pacing back and forth, just nonstop eye contact with Brian as you were calling his name, and he's coming in this fight with some serious intensity.
He got me hyped. I almost passed out just announcing his name in there. So.
Oh! Brian coming with some nice intensity of his own.
That was a very extensive exchange, basically in a clinch and then a pseudo clinch there. Brent, something to note about how that first round played out is that there wasn't a whole lot of damage on either side. Now, of course, we were getting knees. We were getting enough to prevent Angel Ortiz, our head referee, from breaking it up. But I do think that both of these fighters are going to be pretty fresh, pretty happy with how things played out. Moving into round number 2, this is where I hope we see a little bit of an alteration in strategy. Some more striking, some more desire to play at range from both of these guys.
Yeah. I mean, that round was pretty back and forth. Initially, I thought Khafre was stealing it with those tough clinches there against the ropes. But man, I think Brian Allen might have had the better of the up against the ropes push, clinch, domination there at the end. I didn't know if those ropes were going to hold him up.
Yeah, one side or the other. It's just kind of a contestation of strength. Hopefully it's going to open up into a little bit more, but both of these guys not sporting a whole lot in the way of battle damage that you typically see out of a Muay Thai fight. Those strikes kind of playing second fiddle to just vying for position.
Right. Yeah, still too late to and we see him tightening up the ropes here. Good call. These guys are testing the integrity of these ropes. Nice jab starting off here from Brian.
Oh,
Superman punch from Khafre.
And we are seeing that a lot of people like to get a little extra height with a bit of a crow hop, entering into things like knees. We saw that out of Otero in the last fight that we had as well, Brent. Right now, though, it is just going to be a sinking back into a clinch. Allen tried to position high with that right arm to maybe buy space to finally land some offense. But it looks like things were just going to lead right back over to a rope lean. And while we are seeing a good blading of the hips there, Allen is going to eat a few knees straight to that stomach.
And it's good to note here that in this fight, unlike our fights earlier in the night, they are able to do pretty much everything to the head. So they can elbow the head, they can knee the head, and they can kick the head, and obviously punch the head. So the game. It's full game here in this 170-pound title fight.
And I think that the crowd is feeding off of the energy that these fighters are displaying. Because I just took my headphones off for a second. It is electric in here.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, I'm looking around and almost everybody's on their feet.
Absolutely, including me.
Oh, with the right hand. He dropped him, and then he followed up. Khafre was like, hey, you should have not hit me on the ground there.
Yeah, a little bit of a head shake there. Notably, we do see that left arm guard has slipped down quite low. Angel Ortiz, I think, going to call that.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Khafre Tate is the one you want to get angry
No.
by throwing a late hit.
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't seem to bother him, but he's getting into the – he's got a smile on his face this whole fight, so – a fighter that's having fun in there is a hard guy to beat.
One thing to note is that I feel like Allen is willingly giving up way too much space. It's him with his back to the ropes more times than not. Well,
Right.
Khafre Tate just seems to be happy sitting center stage, letting Allen orbit around him, just trying to find entrance.
He's also he's dropping his hands a lot when Khafre's coming in. He's protecting his midsection more than he's protecting his head for some reason, and Khafre's able to take advantage of that.
Yeah, body language definitely favors Khafre heading into this third round here. Brian's starting to show a little bit of wear, and like you say, if he keeps dropping his hands, he might pay for that.
At the same time, though, I really do think that as much as Allen is sitting down, breathing a little bit heavily, this is peanuts compared to what he's experienced in the past. A 12-0 record is built off the back of many deep fights, a lot of perseverance, and a lot of stamina. And I think that Allen's conditioning is going to continue to show his move into the championship bouts here, or his championship rounds, following this third one. Because, yes, while he is resting up right now, I do think that we still haven't seen the maximal energy expenditure that comes from just standing and striking. Right now, this is still such a clinch-heavy bout that I think we're going to get fireworks before the end.
Yeah, Khafre doesn't even look like he's breathing that hard, and so we'll see. I'm really curious to see what these last 3 rounds are going to entail. I want to see him start using more boxing, both guys, and setting up some nice kicks. They've been heavy into the clinch here thus far, but I want to see him start using some actual kick boxing.
Well, we do see a little bit of an exchange there. Leg catch initiated by Allen. We're right back into a clinch, though. Knees coming out, and with that midriff basically hugged tight. I don't think Allen's going to be able to get any offense off here. Angel Ortiz just watching this to see when it comes to a period where he's willing to break it up. One thing to note here is that, yet again, Allen at the very start of the round is immediately retreating, finding himself with his back to the ropes. And I think that's also inhibiting his ability to actually play a kick game.
And really good point there, Chris. And I was just watching the same thing. It seems like that he has spent a lot of this fight with his back against the ropes, and it's hard to win a fight when you're in that position.
A little bit of a rope tangle there actually from Khafre Tate, looking to try to find a head kick. Instead, finds himself with his ankle slipping down. Almost had a little bit of a tie-up there. And now we got an actual tie-up. So that's going to be Angel Ortiz breaking up yet another clinch.
Yeah, look at Brian kind of pedaling backwards, and I don't like to see that because Khafre, they kind of opens up Khafre's game. Nice uppercut, though, there from Brian there against the ropes. And but like I say, it seems like Khafre's the aggressor here, coming forward, throwing the strikes and dominating a little bit on the clinch.
Yeah, I'd like to see a little bit more of an aggressive tie clinch out of the challenger here when they're against the ropes, trying to get some kind of offense together, because just standing there with his back against the ropes, getting punched in the face is not going to win this fight for him.
I do like the inner control that we saw out of Allen right there. It led to several elbows up against the head, and I think that's the reason why Angel Ortiz let that continue for as long as it did. Khafre Tate not looking worse for wear just yet.
There we go.
He's known for his chin, but he needs to be able to fire back in kind. Allen continuing to retreat. We're in another clinch to end that third round.
I love it. I love it, Brent.
Friendly,
you saw what I saw.
Yeah. friendly little face-off there to finish round 3. You know, Brian Allen was scoring some beautiful uppercuts coming in between Khafre's guard there. Might have even drew a little blood from his nose. But, man, tough round to judge. Khafre still, in my opinion, looks like the guy coming forward, throwing the heavier aggression.
I would agree with you, Brent. And this is the thing. I actually don't think that Allen is sporting that much damage. I don't think that Khafre has gotten enough punishment for me to say that he's clearly in the lead in this abstracted sense. But when you can't decide on that front who's ahead, you just default to posture, how they look, who's moving forward. And that is Khafre Tate time and time again. Yeah.
If we're going off of body language, Khafre's winning this fight. If we're going on of significant strikes and damage, you know, it's fairly even.
And we will see what the initiation is going to look like as we move into the championship rounds. If this is going to be the time where Brian Allen says, you know what, I'm willing to fight a range, or if he's just going to continue to initiate clinches. Because right now, I don't think that that's looking as good on the judges' scorecards as he thinks it might be.
Yeah, I mean, he's got some decent boxing there coming in. I want to see him keep using that uppercut up the middle. There you go. I know Brian's got some power. He's got some serious power. You can just tell by those back muscles he's got. But if you don't use it, it's no good to you. So
good little hook right there. Immediately right back into a pseudo clinch, trying to wrap that right arm around and control Khafre Tate's head movement. But now look at this. Tate comes in, finds a knee to open things up, and now we see a trade back and forth. That was a big one from Brian Allen. Khafre Tate definitely sporting some damage after that.
That's what I've been looking for right there. Circle off those ropes.
Yep.
Exactly what he needs to do.
Scored a beautiful knee to the head.
Yep. But then he finds himself right back up against the ropes.
Right.
And to a degree, I'm wondering why it is the case that Brian Allen is willing to concede the space and concede this back control over to Khafre Tate. As Brett pointed out, this is a guy with massive back muscles. This is an undefeated fighter who just seems to maybe be giving a little bit too much respect over to Khafre Tate, who in turn isn't giving such respect to his challenger.
Khafre's turning on the demon time, and he gets him up against the ropes. He's not playing around. You know, he's pushing forward. Nice elbow coming off the ropes there from Brian. And I agree. I think if Brian would circle off the ropes, he'd have a much, much better outcome here in this fight.
And it's just about optics at the end of the day. It isn't even necessarily about what offense he's losing. And he is losing a lot, don't get me wrong. But for judges, forward momentum is just all in favor of the reigning champion. And now look at this. Finally, defense opened up. Khafre Tate going to have his leg caught, but that's only after the shot landed.
And a little blood pouring out of Khafre Tate's nose right now. Some of those shots are getting through. And this just goes, look at this. This just goes to show you what he can do when his back's not against the ropes. I hate to keep going to that point, but he is a much better fighter when he's at distance and can find those punches.
Well, we're moving into the final round, and this could be maybe a rope-a-dope in a way. We're going to see whether or not Brian Allen has what's left in the gas tank to try to put this away. Khafre Tate definitely a little bit grumpy about what almost seemed like a late shot there at the very end of the round.
Yeah.
But still standing up, and outside of the bloody nose, yes, while that does demonstrate some amount of damage, Tate seems like he's also just willing to go for another 5 rounds.
Yep.
Yeah, I think one of those uppercuts in round 3 probably got the blood flowing a little bit in Khafre's nose, but ultimately that's not going to stop demon time.
Absolutely not. I was going to say that, Brent, and you know as well as I do, you can taste that blood in your mouth, and it either makes you shirk back a little bit or it makes you drive forward. And Khafre Tate is the kind of guy that's going to drive forward.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's like, just wipe my nose and send me back in there, coach. He hasn't taken a seat this whole fight.
Same thing with those late shots at the end of the rounds. That just fires him up more.
Yep.
And he didn't need a whole lot of motivation. He was ready.
Yeah, exactly.
Big grin to start us off. I think it's a little bit of a Cheshire cat here. Khafre Tate locked in, wanting to keep that title his. Going to start things off attempting a head kick. Not quite going to land, but yet again, Brian Allen is back to the corner, to the ropes. Can he circle off? Can he find the shots that he was getting right at the end of round number 4?
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know Brian's footwork strategy here. I mean, he's just backing up the whole fight, and it just doesn't look good. You know, if nothing else, for the optics, it doesn't look good. I don't know if he's trying to draw him into something, but I want to see. I mean, I don't know if he's taken too many steps forward this whole fight.
Yeah, he's fighting off his back foot a lot, and his accuracy and his power is there. He just needs to keep his back off the ropes and start firing. And this is the round to do it, man.
Yeah.
Like, he should be letting it all hang out right now.
There we go. Yeah, coming forward. Get a little pep in his step and coming forward and starting to strike and look strong. Exactly. If he's not going to do it in this round, he's not going to do it.
But he's still coming in a little timid. Like, you got to let it all hang out right now. You are down on the scorecards big.
Yep.
50 seconds left with which to try to turn on the afterburners. But what I was thinking was
There we
maybe a rope-a-dope, maybe him just conserving energy, really is beginning to turn into me thinking Brian Allen was gassed by round number 2. He needs to change that around. He needs to make a statement. But I just don't know if he has the wherewithal to do so.
Yeah, he's absorbed a lot of punishment in this fight. His body doesn't show the signs of wear that it should for a 5-round fight, especially with the amount of damage he's taken. But it does show in his stamina, Chris, you're right.
And yet again, Brian Allen trying to just stand and take shots, looking for an opening, but finding none. Tate going to just be able to land blow for blow versus whenever Allen gets in. Clinch going to be initiated. That was almost a knee to the head. We will see a circle off the ropes, though. Allen trying to just pressure back the defending fighter, but that's going to be it. The bell rings. Khafre Tate, all smiles coming out of that one.
Yeah, they're smiling, but I don't think they're going to be going to get a beer after this.
Oh, no.
No, these two guys we're not very friendly in there. But it's all gamesmanship.
Yeah, Khafre, you got to really clock him to take that smile off his face, man. He had a smile on his face from round 1 to round 5.
Very confident, and as well he should be. What a heck of a fight by him. He stuck to the game plan. Great coaching coming out of the corner there, and unless something crazy happens, he should keep that belt, in my opinion.
I would 100% agree with you, Chris. I'll be 100% honest as well and say I'm kind of surprised that Brian Allen is 12-0, undefeated. I wonder if there's something up tonight.
Yeah. Well, you never know. Also, Brent, you can attest to this. Dealing with weight cuts and things like that, you never know. And we saw that earlier when the fighter wasn't able to make it to the ring.
Yeah.
The weight cuts and fight prep takes a lot out of you, and that may have very well been the case tonight.
Yeah. I mean, both of these guys, you can tell they're not naturally 170 pounds.
Yeah,
you know?
For sure.
I mean, both of these guys are cutting, like you say, and who knows how the cuts were. And to Chris's point, 12-0. Man, I don't know. I wanted to see a little bit more out of him, a little bit more aggression, a little bit more skill work. Not that he didn't have some hard shots and some promising moments there, but I wanted to see a little bit more from Brian Allen, and he'll be back. I'm excited to have both of these guys here back inside the TCB ring.
Definitely agree. And once you're this deep into your career in Muay Thai, when you're this deep into TCB, 12 matches in, now 13 on Brian Allen's side, make it 15 for Khafre Tate. I mean, this is where you want to stay, and this is where you want to continue to develop your skills. Not a whole lot of people at this point are making the jump to Cagezilla or something like that. As much as we love to see that as well, these guys are Muay Thai lifers, and I really do think that we will have the chance to see Brian Allen flex the reason why he was 12-0 before this fight later.
Yeah. I don't know exactly what his corner's thinking right now, but I'm assuming they're thinking exactly probably what I'm thinking, which is we would have liked to see a little bit more out of him. Because I think he had the openings in that 5th round when he was coming forward. He was doing well. Let's send it to Chris for the official announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 5 rounds of incredible action, we go to the judges' scorecards. But before we do, let's hear it for both these warriors putting on a great show. And now, ladies and gentlemen, judge number 1 scores about 49-46, Tate. Judge 2 scores about 48-47, Allen. And Judge 3 scores about 49-46 for your winner by split decision, And new TCB welterweight champion out of the blue corner, it's Brian Allen.
Kind of shocking turn of events here in our main event of TCB 43 as Brian Allen's patience pays off and he remains undefeated and becomes the new champion.
Wow. Yeah, it was a hard fight to judge if I had to watch it back and think about it, but man, I don't know. I don't know how I would have scored that one. It was a tough fight to judge. And certainly Beta Academy is happy to get that one, and Brian is happy to keep that undefeated record alive because, you know, there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn. I'm sure he'll take some you know, it's always good to learn off of a win. And you know, I don't think Khafre is too discouraged either. So, you know, but he was the one bleeding. He was the one with the bloody nose, and Brian Allen isn't wearing too much wear on himself. But man, that was a tough one. That was a tough one to score. I don't know if I would have scored it that way, but hey, I'm not a judge.
Brian, congratulations. That was awesome. You came out, it seemed like his game plan was to have you against ropes, but when you were off the ropes, you were so accurate. How did you prepare for that, and was that a part of your strategy coming in?
Yeah, me and my coach, we've been working on a lot of boxing, working on my jab, staying out when he wants to come in, and, you know, just switching in between both, you know. So, I mean, it was an excellent game plan. My whole team is here. You know, they really helped. They helped me and they pushed me. And without them, you know, none of this, I couldn't have done none of this by myself. And then, of course, you know, I always got to thank God. You know, my faith is very important to me. So,
moral support and having that belief in God and support from God is so important. And what's up for you next? You're 13-0. I think that is worth mentioning and giving a round of applause for. That's a really big deal. What's up for you next? We look forward to seeing you again. I thought it was really great.
Next thing is USA Muay Thai. And that's coming up pretty soon in March. That's the next goal, and that's what I'm focused on right now.
Well, that is awesome. Congratulations. Enjoy this moment and with your team. And congratulations to all you guys. Thanks, TCB. Go Commanders!
Congratulations once again here to our new champion in the welterweight division, Brian Allen. We will see you all soon with the next TCB.